So these theories will make you question everything. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Just check them out.
I just read this crazy new study published in the journal Cell. So sleep deprivation can cause death, but we never knew why until now. This study found that in mice and flies, sleep deprivation caused a buildup of free radicals in the gut. Free radicals are not good for you, and long story short, they basically cause a lot of damage to your cells. But they can be neutralized by antioxidants. And in this study, they found that if they gave the flies antioxidants in their diet, the flies were able to live a normal lifespan with almost no sleep at all. One of the antioxidant supplements that worked is called lipoic acid, so I just ordered some on Amazon and we'll see if I can live forever with no sleep. I just read this crazy new study published in the journal.
Live forever? Based off of some article or something you read? Seriously, we gotta chill, man. We gotta chill, bro. Because how often do we hear, oh, this may cause this, and this will help you with this. And then you hear 5 years down the line, if you've taken this in this span, then you may qualify for this because this damaged so many people and stuff like that, man. You know what I mean? I get it. Sleep deprivation is something serious and we need to pay attention to. I know me as a college student, oh my gosh. Oh, but I haven't I would say those probably were the years because of all of the hanging out and stuff like that. I normally get a decent or pretty good night's sleep. You know what I mean? So maybe for people who don't, you might need to look into some different things that can help with sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation lifestyle refers to what happens if someone undergoes long-term sleep deprivation. As we know, without sleep for long periods of time, people begin to lose cognitive and social functions. However, there are theories that if someone goes a really long time on amount of sleep deprivation, they will lose functions such as consciousness. There's been a lot of cool theories proposed with this one, that's what allows the id of our brain to take over, or our more primal self, or perhaps certain spirits or things that exist within this world can inhabit our bodies if we allow that consciousness to be so worn away. I talked about the Russian sleep experiment in like tier 1 or 2 of this iceberg, so imagine this as the practical version to carry out that. Sleep deprivation lifestyle refers to what?
Now, I've heard people, I don't know if it was the Navy SEALs or whom, but they talk about, it was one of those groups, man, they talk about this week. You know what I mean? This week where they have to stay up from I guess it's Sunday to Sunday or something like that. And they're going through all this intense training, different obstacles and different things, and they have to stay awake. They call it a specific week. But I've heard it, man. You go through all kind of different phases, man, of seeing things and going through different stages of deliriousness and stuff like that. It's serious, man. People don't understand how important sleep is. And when your body goes without it, things start happening, man. It's definitely one of the fears of mine.
Tell you you're supposed to sleep what?
8 hours.
And so now you got how many left?
16.
And then you're supposed to work what?
8 hours.
And now you got what left?
8 hours.
You haven't cooked. You haven't got dressed. You haven't said hello to the children. Sleep deprivation. That's how they get you. Sleep deprivation. Huh? You haven't watched TV. You haven't called your mother, your children. Sleep deprivation. It's right there. That's why the rich folks, you better not try to call their house after 8 o'clock at night. They sleep. You work midnight, what they call the midnight shift?
Graveyard shift.
Graveyard. What graveyard mean what?
Death. No cemetery.
Death. Okay. Cemetery. Why? 90 minutes after the sun go down, your brain get recharged. After midnight, the charging stops. If you're not home by midnight, you turn into a what? The nursery rhyme. Pumpkin.
Yeah.
What's the only part of your body look like a pumpkin? Your head.
Yeah.
Tell you you're supposed to sleep what?
8 hours.
And so now you got...
Whoa. Think about some of us who worked 16-hour days, 14-hour days, 12-hour days. And start breaking that down, man. And you wonder why your body's all beat up, worn down by the time you get to a certain age after working continuously like that for all those years. That's why I knew I couldn't do trucking for too long. What's one thing about trucking? Trucker hours. So you gotta get up early if you want to get ahead of the traffic and different things like that. So a lot of times I would be getting up at 2, 3 in the morning, getting to the plant by about, 4? so I can get out of there by 4:30, get on the road, and try to get back to beat Atlanta traffic, depending on where I was going. And if you get stuck in traffic, there's no telling what time you get back. So sometimes I wouldn't get home till 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon after being up at 2 a.m. So all I had time to do was run in the house, get a shower, eat, say what's up to the family, and I'm in the bed trying to get, 4 or 5 hours? I knew I couldn't sustain that. Nobody can sustain that. But a lot of people do it. And you see a lot of accidents because of it. Because they're tired, they're sleepy, they're sleep deprived. But they know they need to do this to try to get money. So it's like you're in this rat race going nowhere because it's tearing your body up.
I have been up for almost 24 hours, and now I am convinced that Wyoming isn't real. Because think about it. I've never met anybody from Wyoming. I've never been to Wyoming. I've never been anybody who's been to Wyoming. Wyoming isn't real. Good night. I have been up for almost 24.
You need some sleep, bro. Sleep. You need some sleep. But you hear people promote it all the time, like even in their music. Sleep is the cousin of death. A lot of people say that in their verses. Sleep is the cousin. I rest when I'm gone. Okay. I used to think that was cool, and I adopted that same moniker until I started, nodding off and doing different things where it scared me.
Doctor's
Being awake
reaction.
for 24 hours straight is the same as having a blood alcohol content of 0.1%. This is higher than the legal limit for driving. If doctors are not fit to use their driver's license after 24 hours awake, should they be asked to use their medical license?
I love this video because everything in this video is 100% true. Being awake for 24 hours straight leaves you severely debilitated, mentally speaking, and it leaves you extremely exhausted. You cannot make right decisions, especially as a doctor in a setting where people's lives depend on you. Now, there is some good news. A lot of residency programs nowadays are moving away from the 24-hour call model, and they're moving towards more shift work. That's what's happening at my residency, and I can honestly say I love it. I have to work approximately 12 hours on average a day, sometimes more, but I still get to sleep every night. And I get to see my family, which is a big deal.
Doctor's
Being awake
reaction.
for 20
I wonder if they're going to do that same thing for firefighters. You know what I mean? But that's why they kind of work a 24 on, 48 off in some places. That was the shit that I had. 24 on, 48 off. And if you caught a Thursday night, because we worked in a college town, if you worked a Thursday night, you were probably going to be up all night. So you kind of prepared yourself. You know what I mean? You prepared yourself because college kids around, they get drunk, they pull fire alarms, they do stupid stuff. They're college kids. You know what I mean? They think it's funny, but they don't realize they're bringing in firefighters who need sleep just in case they're at an actual fire to where they got to be there hours upon hours. You know what I mean? But people would complain if they showed up to a fire station and see firefighters taking a nap. What is this what I'm paying my tax dollars for them to lay around and take a nap? But you don't see them when they're on a call for 12, 14 hours or however long a call could take, an actual working structure fire, to where they're on that if they go to a big open lot or they go to a big warehouse or they go to a big something and they're on that call for hours upon hours. You don't see that. You know what I mean? So that used to burn me. And I can understand the same thing about doctors and stuff like that, bro. Them being on call, you want them rested. If anybody I want is the person that's working on me surgery-wise to be well rested and at full capacity.
Sometimes you just have some thoughts or some memories that you do not want to think about. This research study was looking at whether being sleep deprived would decrease your ability to suppress those unwanted thoughts, and unsurprisingly, it does. If you're sleep deprived, you're less able to suppress things you don't want to think about. This is yet another example of why getting good quality, good quantity sleep is important for many facets of the quality of your daily life. Sometimes you just have...
They need to go back and do a study. What is good quality sleep? Because for the most part, most people think 8 hours. Is it still 8 hours? Is that the standard? Is that still the standard we gauge it by? Or is it dependent on how much work you've done throughout the day? Your body may need 10 hours, 12 hours of sleep. What's the gauge? How do you determine or know what's the right amount of sleep that you need to get? How do you know? You know what I mean? I don't know. Sometimes I still wake up and I feel like I didn't get enough sleep. But I wake up and I think, oh, if I get a jump start on my day, then I can finish and get some rest and relaxation. What is rest and relaxation? Is that me just chilling on the couch? Or is that me actually getting some sleep? So, I don't know. We need to do another study.
Sleep experiment was a sleep deprivation experiment using an airborne stimulant gas the Soviets had created during World War II. The gas was tested on POWs that were informed they would be released if they stayed awake for 30 days. The POWs were placed in a locked chamber with minimal amenities, including beds without bedding. The gas was released into the chamber to keep the POWs awake while the researchers monitored their oxygen levels. Everything was fine the first 3 days. On day 5, the POWs fell into psychosis and were hallucinating. Day 9, prisoners were screaming until their vocal cords almost broke. Day 15, researchers opened the chamber to find a mutilated, piped open abdomen and tore off flesh of one of the POWs. The remaining member apparently had refused to leave the chamber and had superhuman powers in which they extreme strength ripping their muscles from their body. Subjects instantly died when falling asleep. Before being shot the last
What did he just say?
Hold on.
On the 5th day, they fell into psychosis and were hallucinating.
And were hallucinating. Day 9, prisoners were screaming until their vocal cords almost broke.
Never knew how serious sleep deprivation was. And they were doing sleep deprivation trials here in clinicals. Like, never knew. And then you start hearing things like the CIA would use that as a tactic. Imagine keeping someone up and them deprived and different things like that. Shoot, that's a form of torture right there. Like, man, sleep. Seriously, we just don't know how important it is.
Hear me out. Hear me out. What if, it's so bright, what if, just hold on. What if TikTok and Trump were working together? Okay? Just hold on. TikTok gets all the attention from getting all the seats to Trump's rally empty. Okay? Okay. What if Trump trying to ban TikTok and then TikTok scared today with the glitch? That was to get more people to sign up for TikTok so their stocks would go up. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. And why their stocks would go up is because more people signed up because they want to be a part of the TikTok generation. Just like how when Vine died, when a bunch of people signed up for it died just to say they had Vine. I don't know. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Hey, do y'all remember when that whole thing happened? That was like a couple years ago, wasn't it? You know what I mean? And it was always something with Trump being tied to the stock market. You know what I mean? That's one thing you can't say about him, though. When he was in office, he paid attention to make sure that stock market was jumping. Joe, on the other hand, Joe don't really seem like he too much care about that stock market, do he? And that gets on my nerves because I like to dabble in the stock market. So, man, ain't been a good year.
Lack of sleep causes sleep deprivation.
Every day, this guy's wife carries the child to preschool every day. He picks up the child every evening. But on Thursday, he have to take the child to school. So one Thursday, he goes to pick the child up and says, "Child haven't been here." So he calls his wife, "Susan, I thought you was gonna, how come you didn't drop Mary off?" "Today's Thursday, sleep deprivation. He forgot the child was in the back of the car. He went to work, let the windows up, 106, the child is dead."
That's what happens?
Sleep deprivation. And the reason most folks is not wealthy and out of poverty, because in sleep deprivation, you make quick decisions.
Lack of sleep causes sleep deprivation.
Every day.
Wow. I wonder if they could do a study like that. People who are in incarceration and ask them just randomly, you know what I mean? Interview them and have a barrage of questions, but let one of the questions be, on average, how much sleep do you think you get? Do you get a lot of sleep? And ask some questions and see. Maybe that could be why people make impulsive decisions or emotional or irrational decisions and stuff like that. It could be tied to the sleep they get and the stress. That'd be interesting to pay attention to. Like I said before, this is all new as far as learning and obtaining the information that comes from sleep deprivation, of what it could cause or what could happen if a person goes so long without sleep. Be interesting.
Welcome to the video that explains how sleep deprivation kills and what it might feel like. There are a couple of rare fatal forms of insomnia, like fatal familial insomnia, but fortunately most people will never have to live that nightmare. After 2 days sleepless, you will begin experiencing microsleeps where you'll lose consciousness for seconds to minutes and you may not even realize. Anxiety increases and your immune system takes a hit. After 3, you will likely lose touch with reality. You may be overcome with hallucinations and other signs of psychosis. Your heart will begin beating harder and faster. You might begin to feel immense pressure around your head as if it's being squeezed into a teeny tiny hat. Once you transcend 3 days, your risk of an accident increases vastly. This also becomes a danger zone for damage to your brain. Scientists don't have a firm grasp on what actually causes death in these cases, but they often exhibit with organ failure. Recent studies have actually discovered that total loss of sleep may lead to a buildup of reactive oxygen species in the gut that can kill off your healthy cells. And it may finally give us all of the answers. Welcome to the video that explains...
Sheesh. So it's like you could stay awake and then fall asleep and not wake up. Man, get y'all some sleep. It doesn't matter that, oh, you had to stay awake, Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas decorations, or you gotta get this done, or, you know what I mean? You gotta study for this and you gotta pass this. No, bro, you're destroying yourself. You're destroying yourself. You're doing more harm than you think is good. This is torture.
Want to hear something terrifying? Did you know that sleep deprivation can cause psychosis? A study in Chicago in 1989, done on rats, showed that enough sleep deprivation inevitably leads to death. For that, most people will experience hallucinations and psychosis. Going without sleep basically decays your mind. One doctor explains how he was an intern in the intensive care unit. He had to work through every other night for 6 weeks. The reason I know it was October was because there was a pumpkin at the nursing station and I had a hallucination that the pumpkin was talking to me. He then goes on to say that it's the only time that he's ever hallucinated in his whole life. And that's when he realized that sleep deprivation resembles psychosis. So go to bed, babe. Want to hear something terrifying?
Go to sleep now. Go to sleep now. What's the craziest experience you've ever had off of no sleep? I want to know from y'all. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Like, I need to take this stuff seriously. And you know who, in my relationship between me and Queen, who doesn't sleep the most? It's her. It's her. And now that'll start to make more sense of how things affect you and what you deal with throughout the day. I don't even know if that could credit itself for her migraines that she deals with. She suffers from, I wonder if sleep is the cause, could be a potential cause of that. I don't know. With me, that head hit the pillow, bro. It ain't too long before I'm gone. Not at all. I have no problem.
I don't know what you guys have been doing this evening, but I ended up watching the Netflix movie Awake, and I ended up doing some research.
Awake.
Oh boy. So, what triggered me on this was the 100th Monkey had posted a video, and then with a little video clip from the movie. And it was about, all it was they were saying that, you know, if everybody thinks that the world is flat, it's flat. If everybody thinks that it's round, right? What you believe is what we perceive. But what triggered me in the movie to look for was the whole concept of sleep deprivation and the effects of solar flares. So I went to the CIA.org reading room and I typed in sleep deprivation and solar flares. And a report came up. Now, this document is a 170-page report on a collaboration between the U.S. government and the USSR at the time. And I need to read something to you. This is dated July 1972. The information reported covers the period from 1874 to 1972. Let me read that again. The information reported covers the period from 1874 to 1972 and has been drawn from scientific, medical, and military journals, intelligence reports, magazines, news items, books, conferences, and other reports as reference. The information cutoff date for the report was January 31st, 1972. The other thing that is very interesting, it says, this is page 2, you guys, it's the preface. This report summarizes the information available on Soviet research on human vulnerability in its relation to incapacitating individuals or small groups. The information contained in this study is a review and evaluation of Soviet research in the field of revolutionary methods of influencing human behavior and is intended as an aid in the development of countermeasures for the protection of U.S. or Allied personnel. Due to the nature of the Soviet research in the area of reorientation or incapacitation of human behavior, this report emphasizes the individual as opposed to groups. You know I'm going to be reading all 170 pages, right? And then I'm going to report on it. But I suggest that you guys do some information and searching yourself. And what I would be looking at is I would be looking at the ingredients of the jab and what does it do with sleep or Alzheimer's. Have fun.
Have any of y'all seen that movie Awake? She might have just put me on to something. I'm definitely writing that down. Right now. Awake. I'm going to watch that today after the football game, of course. You know what I mean? But I'm going to watch that. I'm going to get the family in and see if it's child friendly. You know what I mean? I want to know. Let me know if there's some other good documentaries or anything like that on sleep deprivation as well. I wouldn't mind checking those out, man. The more you know about this stuff, the better off you'll be. That's the problem with us. We don't be knowing the information. We don't know. Lack of information could have probably saved so many lives on a wide variety of things. So, I don't know. Like she said, I'll be back to report on that movie if I watch it, if it's good.
Here's how sleep deprivation in kids can prove to be fatal. A teenager's body clock is a lot later than an adult, meaning they're a lot more likely to sleep towards midnight and still have to wake up for school, which means they end up being chronically sleep deprived. Here's the thing though, we have two parts of our brain. We have the amygdala, which controls our emotions, impulses, and desires, and then our prefrontal cortex, which controls our higher judgment and critical thinking. When we get enough sleep, those two systems work really well together and control our mood really well. When we don't get enough sleep though, what happens is the amygdala kind of takes over and we become a lot more crankier, groggier, and just generally more irritable. And I know that this is a really sensitive topic, but because of the increase in signaling of the amygdala, what ends up happening is that kids have these wild mood swings from negative to positive. There's even been a link proven in multiple studies to show that kids who are chronically sleep deprived have higher rates of aggression, bullying, and even suicide. Here's how sleep deprivation in kids can prove to be fatal.
Wow, and those were the times. Do y'all recall getting much sleep as a teenager? No, you went to school, from getting up at 6 in the morning? I'll describe my school day. Getting up at like 6 in the morning, getting to school, probably about 8 something, right? Getting out of school probably about 3:34, right? So you're already almost 12 hours of your day almost gone, right? If you got up at 6. So you get done and get out of school. Then if you played in any extracurricular activities, that's another, hour or two after school. So you're getting home maybe 6, 7-ish, right? Then you got homework. You got homework to do. How long does that take you? How many classes did you have? So that could keep you up to 11, 12-ish. If you wanted any type of social life, you know what I mean? You may try to handle that after practice and then get home and work on your schoolwork. So then you're going to bed maybe what? 12, 1, 2 in the morning to wake up at 6. How is that healthy for a kid? We don't know. But as parents, we just, hey, get it done. Get it done. It's because we don't know. This was interesting, man. Sleep deprivation is a topic that needs to be discussed in households if you're not already discussing it. I think it's very important. Y'all get at me in the comment section. Y'all probably have more information on this topic than me. Maybe more well experienced in this topic than me. Talk about it in the comment section. All right? Stick around and stay tuned. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.